Good day everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick, we're on the Commodore Amiga and we're looking at a game called Fire and Forget, published by Titus Software in 1988. It's an arcade racer shooter heavily influenced by RoadBlasters because, well, it's very similar. Also come out on the Atari ST, Amstrad CPC Spectrum, and you must go through rescuing the Earth over 3 levels of play. We'll do level 1 first of all. And yes, well, we'll see how this one plays, to be honest with you. You must shoot everything. When you crash into stuff, you lose fuel. If you run out of fuel, that's it. So each stage has 6 places to conquer on the globe. So pick your starting place and then go forward. Yay. Now this did have a sequel which we'll come to at some stage, no doubt, but let's just concentrate on the first one. So here we go. It looks pretty awful. 1988. So we must now basically you must avoid all the obstacles getting shot by stuff, and you'll see your fuel going down in that big gauge. By collecting these pyramid things with that noise is signaling, we get more fuel. And each crash, as I say, costs you big chunks of fuel. On level 1 it's not so bad. On level 3 it costs you massive amounts and gets increasingly tricky. Now, because it moves so fast, avoiding stuff is pretty much impossible. So in the end it's pretty much random how well you do. Now, it's not as bad as Crazy Cars 1 and 2, but it's in the sort of like category. Right, we've done that stage, hooray, on to the next war. So we've done one stage of 6. Once you've done all of those, you complete the level. But you can jump up if you want to those higher levels. Titus Software 1988. Okay, stage 2 is exactly the same, except it's green. Yeah, see what I mean? The playability is not very good. Keep hitting the fuel gauges. If you don't, those fuel pickups, those power-ups, it's Doomsville. Now hopefully Fire and Forget 2 is a little bit better, but out the 2, I mean RoadBlasters wasn't a great conversion on the Amiga, but out the 2 I'd go with RoadBlasters just because you've got half a chance and your level of success isn't as random as we try and blow up these tanks on this very narrow green grass road. Yes. Right, hopefully we'll get to the end of this stage, but I don't think it would take too many goes and then you'll get near the end. As a kid, I would have probably found a better game quite quickly and never played this ever again. So it's Fire and then forget you ever played it, but at least you've got a warning, so don't track this down unless there's any massive nostalgia for you. Don't track this down on the Amiga or an emulator. You might like it, if so, well done you. It's all about different opinions, but I don't think it's aged particularly well, and I don't think it was that good in the first place. As we go to the snow, the handling of the car is the same in the snow as to any other level. It's the same level each time, but different colours to try and convince you. So fuel's going down, yeah, we've just picked up more, and that's pretty much it. So there's not a great deal to it, is there? Excitement is quite low. It might keep a kid entertained for a morning or an afternoon, I think, but it's not one where you would invite your friends round to play it, especially because I don't think they would have ever come round again. If you only have a racing games with crazy cars, then this would seem brilliant. If this was the first game you ever saw on a Commodore Amiga, when you only knowledge was 8-bit, you'd think this is pretty cool, but then experience would say no it isn't. And we just got to the end again, so we're screaming through level 1. Marvellous. Right, 3 places left and then level 1 is done. I'm not saying we're going to do it, but there's a good chance of it, it seems. Do you like this game? Do you hate this game? Do you think it's okay or that there's not much to it? I think, well, is it acceptable for 1988? Not really. Maybe 1986 or 1987. A push, they might have got away with it. But it's just not happening. The graphics of the car's quite good, but you just explode too easily. They should have made the road wider. Well, there's a bit of an outrun type bit where we can choose our path. Oops, thought we was going to get some fuel then. You can slow down to a certain degree and it's game over, and that's that for Nick. Yeah, kaboom! Restore peace on Earth, bit like in a Mad Max area, but the aliens, or whatever they are, have only infected the roads. I don't know why. This game is pretty much an also-ran. Do not track it down unless you want some sort of nostalgia fest because you owned it as a kid. Quite a lot of pad racing games. There's elements of this is okay. Let's go up to level 2. Well, we've mastered level 1. I think we've got different locations. We're on the map at least, but I think they might be exactly the same. Where have we gone now? Is that Japan I've just clicked on? My geography isn't the best. Right, in Japan, if it is Japan, it's all green grass. Check out the horizon. It moves past it at an incredible lick. What country it is, it's immaterial. Fuel's ticking down. I seem to be stuck on the outside. See how the fuel jumps down after a crash? Come on, we need one of those fuel vials or it's game over. Got one. Boom. Then crashed into another bomb, unfortunately. Now, when it's moving at this speed and this narrow, how do you avoid all this stuff? You can't, can you? It's impossible, as they say in France, and I think that's game over. Game over. It's game over. Right. Impossible. Don't like this game. Do not like it. From the screenshots, like many of them, you could be convinced of thinking this is a good game if an overzealous reviewer in a magazine sang its praises, but hopefully you was not fooled by that. Was it a case back then you could just put it on eBay or something? Like level 3, this should be super difficult. Any crash costs you practically all of your fuel. I'd like to see Fire and Forget 2 to dump this fuel element because that really gets in the way. Hopefully that's a bit better, that game, with a bit of design mechanic. As I say, like Crazy Cars 1 was awful, Crazy Cars 2 was awful, but Crazy Cars 3 was pretty good. So I'm hoping this kicks in earlier on this franchise. Just about survived there. Can we get off one stage on this? No, not if it's going to cost us that much fuel. There's planes going past every now and again. Not that we've got time to admire those. Presumably we might be able to upgrade the weapon at some point, but it's all seeming very, very samey. I've been here before. There's nothing new to experience whatsoever. Get to the end. Yes, I bumped into a landmine there. Don't know why they're putting these on the road. And it's game over. Didn't really have too much of a chance, I would say. If you completed this on the highest mode, let me know, because you must have skills that only a Jedi would possibly have. Unless you can memorise the road layouts if you did it over and over again. I think we'll have one last go on level 1, see if we can complete that stage, and then we'll get out of here, because you've seen more than enough. It's also, although it's quite bad, I prefer it to that 4x4 game as well. 4x4 Off-Road, I think it was called. That's quite poor. But, you know. Whoops. Straight into a mine there, and then blown up by an airplane, blown up by another airplane. Then there's tanks on the road, been blown up by them. Hooray! But there's enough fuel vials in stage 1, and I'm dying every, like, don't know, about 30 meters down the road. So maybe drive off the road. That might be good, but you can't do it here. You're limited to the road, covered in snow. My favourite snow-covered roads in a game would be Lotus 2 and Lotus 3, but that's not much of a surprise. If you had Lotus 2 and 3 and then bought this, you would be, well, you'd probably throw this in the bin. If you had this first, then got Lotus 2 and 3, you'd think, excellent, the future is now. Come on, end of stage. This is painful to play. Well, probably even more painful to watch. What is the point? I'm grinding this through, but it's not at all fun. No fun to be had here. If they had a 2-player mode where you use against each other, that might give it a little bit, where you can shoot each other sneakily. That might be a bit more fun. Right, next up, somewhere in, well, Russia or Turkmenistan or somewhere. And it's in the desert. What a surprise. There's sand dunes in the distance, not a cloud in the sky. Collect your vials, move on. This car must have the most leakiest fuel tank in history, because literally we're travelling about half a mile. Speed there 242. Is that miles an hour? I don't know. Possibly. Yeah. Go, go, go. I don't know who owns all these tanks. Is it aliens or some coup that's taken over the planet? But we're always under attack before we get hit by an asteroid, or the sun explodes, or a rogue star enters the solar system and knocks us all out of our orbit. But there's a great variety of doomsday scenarios. One of them is probably playing this until the human race just gives up completely, and we somehow put ourselves into a black hole. Created by CERN, no doubt. Right, that's that bit done. Exciting, eh? I think the answer you're after is no. But we're just mucking about, we're having fun. We're having a look back into the past to see what games are about. Would we have bought them? Hopefully the answer's no to this one for you. You might not have seen it before. It might give you a comparison to RoadBlasters and similar games, and you think, yeah. Or you might think, this reminds me of another game that Nick's never played, and you'll comment below and I'll add it to the list, and at one point I possibly could review it. But this is coming for a recommendation as well. Fire and Forget 2 is on the list also. Nice to see, but not one I would have liked to own at all. No siree, Bob Holness. I would not have liked it. So NN. So you know, I think we've seen enough of that game, or shall we just sneak in another one? The answer to that is no. So I hope you like. No, let's sneak another one in. Let's do level 3. Yeah, why not? You only live once. I think that was James Bond, wasn't it? You only live once, so it seems. Or was it twice? Or 4 times? I don't know. You need to live a lot of times in this to get in there. But James Bond, this is not. This is more like Mr. Bean. Yeah. Alright, see, look at that. So level 3 died straight away. Excellent. Let's have another go at level 3. I'm determined, but not skilled. It's not a level 4. Now check out how much fuel you lose when you have a crash in this silly car. Turbo. Start your engine. Right, so look at the fuel gauge. Wait for my first crash, which will be quite soon. Look how much it drops. There we go. It's dropped right down to there. Right, so where's the fuel? There's none. It's dropped down to there. That's it. What? You know, got 2 chances there. Slim and absolutely none. One more for luck. Just so we've given it everything we possibly can. One more for luck. Or one more for bad luck. Level 1. I'll tell you what, I think we have seen enough of this one now, haven't we, to be honest with you. So, I hope you liked having a look at that. That was Fire and Forget on the Commodore Amiga, published in 1998. No, not 1998, 1988. 98 would have been worse. Yeah, in 1988, get it right, Nick, by Titus Software. Got any comments about this game, similar games, or anything retro, then please put that below. You're always more than welcome. I wasn't a big fan of this one. It was, well, in the rubbish bin for me. Until next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.